Brigitte Macron and her family were denounced when she began dating her teenage pupil Emmanuel, a new biography has claimed. Now the First Lady of France, Mrs. Macron shocked locals in Amiens when details emerged of her relationship with the future president. Her parents, both doctors, were treated like they had the plague, had their doors spat on, and were sent letters denouncing their daughter. Emmanuel Macron's unauthorized biography, titled Brigitte Macron, La Franchie, the Unfettered Woman, has hit the shelves as President Macron lands in Britain today for his first visit since moving into the Élysée Palace. The book reveals the depth of the hostility Mrs. Macron encountered after she began the relationship with her teenage pupil at the private La Providence Lycée Catholic School. She was from a wealthy family known for its cake business, had a successful banker husband, and was a mother to 3 children. But when she met Emmanuel for the first time, he was 14, she was 38, her respectable life was about to be ended. Mrs. Macron has previously said the couple fell in love when Emmanuel was 15, the age of consent in France, but their affair still scandalized Amiens. Macron quotes a friend of Mrs. Macron who explains that the period is a wound in her life which she does not enjoy speaking about. But she has sometimes told me she lost all her friends. The acquaintance went on. Friends with whom she went on holiday changed overnight and no longer wanted to speak to her. Macron adds that tensions ran extremely high at the time of the relationship. Their affair ended Mrs. Macron's marriage, though she did not get divorced until 2006, and led to Mr. Macron being removed from the school and sent to Paris. The biography says Emmanuel penned a racy novel inspired by their early romance. A family neighbor from Macron's hometown says she typed up the 300-page manuscript. It was a daring novel, a little bit smutty. Of course, the names were not the same, but I think he needed to express what he was feeling at the time, the unnamed neighbor is quoted as saying in excerpts published by Closer magazine. A spokeswoman for Macron's office declined to comment. In the excerpts, the typist said she had not kept a copy of the novel, perhaps sparing the blushes of a leader who has promised to clean up French politics, and says he wants to restore the dignity of the presidency. The unauthorized biography was written by a prominent editor whose gossip magazine is known for its scoops on celebrities. It is the first biography since her husband swept to the presidency last year, propelling Brigitte to global fame, but for all her public appearances she remains an enigmatic figure for many. Her popularity was most recently on display during a state visit to China, where the couple's age difference was a source of fascination in a country where men tend to pursue much younger women. But for Macron aficionados, excerpts released this week by Brun's magazine Closer mostly covered well-trodden ground. Childhood friends recount Brigitte's early years as the youngest of 6 children in Amiens, recalling a cosseted and vivacious teenager, a member of the city's figure skating team for 3 years starting in 1967. Being the last of a large family, she benefited from a large degree of freedom, a friend recalled. Another remembered that for good marks, she once got an entire jewelry set in silver. The book also delves into Brigitte's first marriage with André-Louis Osier, a banker described as nice, but not very talkative, the opposite of his extroverted spouse. But when the couple moved near Lille, she found an outlet for her people skills as a press officer for the local Chamber of Commerce. She's a very spontaneous person, she operates without filters, and therefore sometimes without putting up defenses, which accounts for her strength and well as her fragility. French writer Philippe Besson enthuses in the book. Unfettered spends plenty of time speaking with former students of Brigitte Trogneau, when she was a drama teacher at an Amiens high school, where in 1993 she would help a student, Emmanuel Macron, rewrite Eduardo de Filippo's The Art of Comedy. I remember one time we were studying the concept of passion, eliciting a nervous silence in the classroom, a former student recounts. So she cheerfully bursts out that treating yourself to pleasure once in a while does some good. She had a gift for loosening us up. The book also examines the impact on Brigitte of her sister's death. Her older sibling died in a car crash with her husband and their 6-year-old daughter in 1961. Brun's book reveals that Brigitte built a protective shell around herself after the tragedy. In 1982, when Brigitte was 29 and not yet a teacher, Brigitte was employed as a press secretary at the Nord-de-Calais Chamber of Commerce. Brun writes that the 2-year experience seemed to please her, without it becoming her vocation. By 1984, however, the family had moved to Strasbourg because of her first husband's job. Within 5 years, she had become immersed in local politics in the nearby commune of Truktersheim. The book reveals, becoming a member of the Truktersheim Tomorrow campaign fighting for rent caps for young households and a local skate park.